forward to speaking with you about something that is very important to me, a lifelong journey that I've had to learn, and I hope that I can incorporate some of what I've learned to help you so that you can succeed with your life and not be looking back at the past or moving 10 steps backward. We want to move forward. So, to tell you who I am Laurie Schoenfeld. I could tell you something as simple as I like owls, I like fuzzy blue slippers. All that is very true. But what we're really here to talk about and to learn within ourselves is, who are we really? What are there things that we're scared to share about ourselves with other people, that we're hiding, that are holding us back? So let me start again. I'm Laurie Schoenfeld. I'm a mother of 3. I'm a writer. I'm a child abuse survivor. And I'm a scoliosis survivor. At the age of 8, almost every day, I was beaten by my mother. If I wasn't, and it was a good day, I was verbally abused with her words, and emotionally and mentally broken. I would hear, "You are ugly, you're not smart, you're worthless, you'll never amount to anything. I wish you were never born," and the list went on and on and on. At 8 years old, I remember crying in my room, telling myself, "You're good. You're a good person. She doesn't mean what she says. Tomorrow will be better." But tomorrow wasn't better, and it wasn't better for years. That's the thing with words, though. It's when you hear them all of the time, you start believing everything that you hear and what you're surrounded by. So I started believing that I was ugly and worthless, and I never would amount to anything. I had low self-esteem, massive depression. I made sure not to get involved in anything. Why would I? I couldn't do it. I wasn't smart enough, so why even try? At the age of 13, I found out that I had scoliosis. You know what scoliosis is? It's where your spine is crooked rather than straight. So that just amplified the ugly. Now you're crippled. You'll never have anybody that will love you. Look how bad you look. I had to wear a back brace for 22 hours a day. And what it looked like, I wish I still had it, but it was a plastic, heavy, kind of like a shield, go over your hips, all the way up into your armpits. There were Velcro snaps and bands that would squeeze you like a girdle, except it's not cute. It's not pretty. I couldn't breathe. And because it was so big, I had to wear a big baggy shirt every single day at school and big pants. Couldn't wear the in style. So I'd go to school and I'd go like this. I'd walk around the halls, afraid that if somebody slapped into my brace, they'd hear that knock, because it was really loud. So I'd sit in the back, I wouldn't talk to anybody. And I went through this day in and day out, physically, emotionally, and mentally worn out and bruised. I had no one. So at night, I started taking my brace off because I figured, well, at least I could relieve some of the physical pain. But over time, because I would take it off, we went back in to the hospital and they said, "Your back it's so bad, it's gotten so much worse, you need surgery now." So my only option was to have surgery or to be crippled by the time I was 30, which was not an option. So we went in and we had surgery. I now have 2 titanium rods in my back with hooks. My husband saw it for the first time a few years ago and he didn't quite understand what it looked like. But he's like, "Whoa, what's in there?" So I had all the metal rods. I remember every single day I'd have to have a nurse come in and move me from side to side because I couldn't move on my own. They didn't want me to have pneumonia. I was alone, and that was the lowest depression I've ever had in my entire life. I couldn't move. I didn't have anybody there to support me. I was ugly. I had this massive scar. I could not do anything. At that point in my life, there was a nurse that had come, and she would tell me, "Laurie, we need to get up and we need to walk today," because I had to learn how to walk. And my first reaction was, what's the point? I don't want to. I'm just going to lay here. But a little part inside of me said, "Really? You're going to let people do this to you, really. This is what you're deciding. So I got up. I walked a few steps, and I told myself, Laurie, you've got this. Who is this person? I didn't know who this person was. You've got this. Where the hell have you been all these years? Why were you not here before? Anybody that knows me that's my mantra for my friends, for my family, for me. You've got this. I still stick with it. So we took the laps, and every time she'd say to stop, I told myself, no, we're going to keep going. That, my friends, was the first time that I saw myself in a different light. I saw strength where I did not know I had it. I knew that at some point there was so much more in me, even though I'd never seen it before. And that was the start of my journey to self-heal and to embrace my fears. Shortly after, my mom and dad separated, thank the Lord, and there was freedom. I could breathe. I could think for myself. I was not trying to be something for someone else. I was trying to be who I was. I didn't really quite know who that was, honestly, because I'd been somebody else for so long. And so I had to learn who that person was. And this is kind of what I learned, which we're going to talk about today. First, you need to recognize what your fears are. It may sound very simplistic, but sometimes some of our fears, there's multiple layers, okay? So you need to write out your fears on a piece of paper and call them out. What are they? Betrayal, failure, loss of a loved one, of yourself, rejection. Call it out. After you do that, you have to ask yourself what happened to create that fear. Where did that fear come from? Because it has to come from something. So dig a little deeper. What happened? And why is that fear holding you back? Also, to let you know, because I'm going to go very fast with my time limit here, I will send anybody who would like the information of the presentation, I will send it via email, so you can take a closer look and do some of these exercises on your own, so you don't feel like you have to scribble really fast. I'd be happy to do that. So, most of us are fear-afraid. We're fear-afraid. We're afraid of fear. That was a good tongue twister. Why are we afraid of fear? We think that it's a negative thing from our past experiences, but really, it is a positive and useful tool. We just have to learn how to use it. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Okay, so when you have fear, you gain consciousness. Your body starts to do a few things. Your hands shake. Your heart picks up pace. You start feeling anxiety. When I feel fear, my anxiety goes up the roof quickly. There is no short, it just goes. Do your hands twitch? What is your body doing to you? That is a sign your body is telling you, oh my gosh, it's happening again. Here comes that fear. Most of us, when we feel fear, we react on that emotion quickly. That's what gets us into trouble. When we take a moment to process why we're feeling that fear and what has set that off, that is when you start being able to embrace your fears a little bit and not let fear control you as much. Having that moment to just process and think. This step helps you to disengage from the fear as your ultimate reality, that you are not your fear and your fear is not you. You need your fear, but you're not one and not the same. So think of this as a fire alarm. Fire alarm goes off. You grab your kids, you grab your little puppy, you grab your granny, you run out of the house as fast as you can, whoever you have in your house. You're not going to sit there, hopefully, and play on Facebook, right? So, fear is like a fire alarm. It is sending you an alert. It's telling you to check something out. It's giving you clarity. Why am I having this fear? Julia Cameron, she writes The Artist Way. Has anybody read The Artist Way? Know what it is? Is it not amazing? Oh my gosh, guys. This is life transforming. It really is. If you have never read this book, this is the second book in the series. The first one's The Artist's Way. Julia Cameron is amazing, and this has helped me so much in my self-healing process. So check her out. But she says that fear is not something to medicate and meditate away. Okay? It is something to accept and explore. And I love that. Naturally, when we feel fear, we think something's wrong with us. What's going on? And instead of looking at it that way, you need to view it that, no, there's something that we need to check out. There's something that we need to explore a little bit further. Your fear is not your enemy. Has anybody listened to Elizabeth Gilbert on TED Talks? Yay! High five, Alex! There's a 5 way back there. I can't. She is fabulous. I really love her. If you want motivational talks, check out Elizabeth Gilbert on TED Talks. She has some great ones to look into. But she says when she's writing, if she feels fear sit on her shoulder, or if it's taunting her across the room, she'll pause and she'll say, "Thank you. I appreciate your support, but you're not needed today." So she acknowledges her fear, but understands, and is very helpfully understands when she needs it and it's appropriate, and when it's not needed at all. Next thing you have to do, which was, it's a hard one just in general, but for me it was hard because I'm such a feeling and emotional person. But you really have to learn to manage your feelings. What I mean by that is that you don't care so much about what other people think. You don't worry about, what if this person doesn't like me? What if I'm doing this wrong? Maybe I should do this for someone else. Once you start doing that and worrying so much about what other people think of you, you lose your authenticity and you lose the realness to who you are. A lot of times when we worry so much about what people think of us, we put on like 5 masks, right? We try to have all of these hats to make everybody happy, to try to look a certain way for one person, a certain way for another one. That's exhausting. I've been there many times. It's frustrating. And a lot of fear comes with that because we're not really truly being who we are. So we're going to talk a little bit more about techniques as well of how to own your emotions and not worry so much about what other people think. This is also, guys, this is such a practice. This is not something that you're going to be like, well, Laurie said, and tomorrow you're not going to have any fear. And because fear is good. You need fear. It's on our side. But it is such a practice to be able to embrace your fears and also learn to love yourself. And it takes time. So just keep with the pace. Work with it, okay? I'm moving past. Okay. So next one, and this is a big one for me. Okay. You need to learn to love and appreciate who you are. Every single day, I have, like I talked about, a practice. Things that I do. I'm very busy. You're very busy. We all decide, though, what we're busy in. Isn't that true? I mean, we do. We're all busy, but what do we decide to be busy in? That's really our choice. I decide to be busy in a little bit of self-healing and a little bit of self-love. So every day, I meditate. I write in my morning pages, which you know what that is. They are 3 pages of long handwriting. When you write, it's not beautiful writing, guys. Do not edit. Don't you dare. You go into those pages writing what's upsetting you, what makes you angry, things that you're feeling that you can't quite understand. All the ugly writing, okay? And you get it out. It's a therapy in and of itself. And nobody reads it. It's just for you. I also do motivational videos. There are times we love Tony Robbins. Andy and I are, my husband over here, is really huge into Tony Robbins. There's a lot of motivational videos you can find online that are fantastic. I write in a grateful journal every single day. I usually do 5 to 10 things. You can do more, you can do less. It really depends on what you personally want to do. And the reason for that is because no matter how crappy I'm feeling, there's so much to be grateful for. there's always something that you can find that's beautiful and good about life, okay? Jenny, back here, is my accountability buddy. Does anybody have an accountability buddy? Other than me and Jenny? Yay! Good, awesome, okay. Accountability buddies, we write to each other every single day. And we give each other our schedules. We used to do a daily task, and now we're doing schedules, which we both really love a lot more, where we say from 10 to 12, this is what we're doing, period. From 12 to 1, period. And if we don't get it done, all be well, we are still moving on to the next thing. The reason why this is so good is because Jenny and I can motivate and uplift each other throughout the day, but when either one of us are feeling afraid of something that we need to do, or we're not feeling motivated, we're able to push each other to do it anyway. And it's been very healthy, very good for both of us. So I would encourage that. Okay, be around like-minded people, positive people. I really honestly can't stress enough that you want people that uplift you, support you, guide you. Those people that only want to be your friend for specific reasons, the people that bring you down with their negativity, they're toxic. And you have to let go of those friendships, otherwise you are not going to be able to embrace your fears and move forward, because you're going to continually want to feed their bad habits and stay right where they are, because you'll feel bad. It's just a really bad process. One of the things that was the turning point for me was a few years ago, I had to actually let go of my mother in our relationship. That was very difficult for me because I hoped that things would be different. But she was bringing me down, and I was not going anywhere quick. I was not happy with who I was. I was continually trying to still be who she wanted me to be. And I learned that for me to be able to be in my own skin and own myself and own who I am, that I had to let her go. With that, after that happened, there was a freedom in that. All of a sudden, I was trying new things that I'd never tried before because I felt like I could. I was doing things and talking the way that I normally would have, but always made sure that I was really quiet and not to say certain things because it might upset other people. I finally came into my own and started doing things for me. Writing, taking shots, speaking to people, doing things that scared me. We went on the catapult. I hate heights, guys. Does anybody know what the catapult is? At Lagoon. You're in this little spear ball. My husband loves this stuff, and that's all he wanted to do for his birthday. And I was like, oh girl, you gotta be the wife, you gotta support your husband. But I was like, literally, I should have worn it Depends or something. I was really scared. I was really nervous. And it's like this little ball that you sit in. There is no covering. It's still, your legs are in, your body's in, you're strapped in, but it's like just a little bit of metal and they sling you the crap up into the air. And it's exciting, right? No. But it's one of those things that you start trying things that scare you. My rule of thumb is every single day I need to try something that scares me. If I'm not scared and I'm not feeling fear, I'm not moving forward. I'm comfortable. If you're comfortable, you're not progressing, guys. You have to be uncomfortable all of the time. It's a good thing. We like that. An exercise on our time limit that I'll have you do when you get home. The cards are given to you for a reason. I want you to write down on some of those cards, and this is a hard one, but something that you've either told yourself or someone else has told you that's negative, that you've believed about yourself for years, that's halted you. The reason why I want you to do this is because I want you to turn it around. Such as, I told myself a lot that I'm not smart, so now I say, I, Laurie, am smart. And it's my positive affirmations that I tell myself every single day. It may seem like a funny little thing. You're yelling in your mirror. I've done it in the bathroom before, pitched before, and I'm sure someone thought I was psycho. But it helped me. The reason why we do this is just like when I was 8 years old and all those negative thoughts overcame me. If you have positivity and you're doing affirmations and you're being around people all the time that uplift you, it becomes a process that you just think positive all the time. Not that things are hard, not going to be hard. Things are always going to be hard. But you view things differently. You view yourself differently. You find beauty in yourself that you didn't see before. And lastly, you have to embrace your fears. Just like I said with the catapults. One of the big things for me is after I had surgery, I have this scar on my back that's from my neckline down to my butt bone. It's very dark. I still have a hunch on my back because it's crooked. It's better, but it's still crooked. I was terrified for years of wearing a damn swimming suit because I didn't want anybody to see it. So I was that girl that would wear a tank top and shorts. Finally, one year I decided, this is a part of who you are. That scar is a story about what you've been through. That was the first sign for me of strength, this scar that I have. The first time that I said something good about myself in years and saw that strength. So I went into the store, found a bathing suit that was like the full back was cut out, might as well, right? If I'm gonna do it, I might as well do it. And I went out and went swimming. Now I know that it sounds like that is not a huge thing, but for me, that was huge. I went from being afraid and letting my fear control me to the point where I wouldn't ever go swimming, to going out and saying, I don't care if anybody's staring at me. I don't care if somebody thinks that this is weird. This is who I am. That's it. Take it and you leave it. If people don't like it, see you later. Right? The biggest problem today is not fear itself. It's the belief that we should not be afraid, that we should be confident, we should be courageous all the time. Is that realistic, really? We could pretend it is, but it's not. Being confident, courageous, and fearlessness actually is from embracing, facing, and dancing with your fears. The most successful people are still afraid. They just go and fail a million times over. Failing is imminent. I hate that word, guys. Imminent. There we go. Because they do it all of the time. So, this is one of my favorite quotes. It's getting over a painful experience is much like crossing the monkey bars. You have to let go at some point in order to move forward. You want me to read it? Say it again, Paul? I could send it to you instead.
That could be our chapter's motto.
I was that little kid that did not do good on the monkey bars and would fall every time, but my choice was, do I sit there on the gravel and let the gravel eat my knees, or do I stand back up and try again? So what are you going to do? Sit there or get back up and try again? Most of us live in the past and the future. We fear the past because of our horrible experiences and things that went wrong, but we fear and have anxiety toward the future because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't have control over it. So what if I gave you this question today? If you were told by your doctor that you had 6 months to live, what would you do? Would you be living in the past or the future, or would you be living in the present? Would you go to exotic locations? Would you finish that book that's been waiting for you? Would you learn a new language? Go talk to somebody new. What would you do? Think about it for just a minute. Okay, now why are you waiting? What are you waiting for? Right now, we're all at some point letting fear control our lives. So stop. Let's move forward. Let's find a way to move past that. So I want you to put on your shield, guys. Cross those monkey bars. And if you fall, I want you to get up again. Fear is not your enemy. You've got this.